If you're out in the woods at night, there are a few things you should never do. If you hear something, don't answer it. If it sounds like someone you know, don't follow it. And if something starts moving outside your camp, pretend you didn't hear it. Welcome to Campfire Static, where the woods watch back. Evan Mercer wasn't the kind of man who spooked easily. He'd spent over a decade in search and rescue, missing hikers, night recoveries, disaster zones where buildings didn't stand the way they were supposed to anymore. He understood fear. More importantly, he understood how often fear lied. That's why what happened in Pisgah bothered him, because it didn't feel like fear. It felt like recognition. He'd planned a simple weekend trip, a solo hike along a quieter stretch of the Appalachian Trail cutting through Pisgah National Forest. No one else for miles, just how he liked it. Day one was normal. Quiet woods, clean air, the steady rhythm of boots on dirt. He set up camp in a small clearing just off trail, cooked, and settled in before dark. Nothing unusual. It started the second night. At first, it was the silence. Not complete silence, just wrong silence. The kind where the background noise thins out. No insects layering the air. No distant movement. Just space where sound should be. Evan noticed it, but didn't panic. He'd heard forests go quiet before. Predators did that. Still, something about it sat wrong. He crawled into his tent just after dark. No fire, no light. Just listening. That's when he heard it. Movement. Heavy. Not the quick scatter of something small, not the cautious step of a deer. This had weight. Intent. Something pushing through brush without care. Crunch. Pause. Crunch. It was circling. Evan stayed still, tracking it in his head. Distance, direction, pattern. It wasn't random. It was aware. After a minute, the sound stopped completely. That silence came back, thicker now. He slowly reached forward and eased the zipper down just enough to see out. The clearing was dim, washed in thin moonlight. Trees standing like black pillars. At first, nothing. Then something shifted between them. Evan's eyes locked. There was a figure standing just beyond the tree line. Too tall. That was the first thing that hit him. Even at a distance, the proportions were wrong. It stood hunched slightly, but still stretched higher than any man should. 7 feet, maybe more. Then it stepped forward, and the light caught its face. Pale. Not just light, pale in a way that looked empty, like it didn't hold color at all. And the features, they didn't line up. The eyes were too far apart, the mouth too wide, resting in a shape that didn't feel natural. Like something had tried to build a human face from memory and got it almost right. Almost. Evan didn't move, didn't breathe. The figure tilted its head slowly, studying him. That's when it clicked. It wasn't reacting to him. It already knew exactly where he was. Evan pulled the zipper closed, slow and silent. No light, no movement. He lay back, staring at the ceiling of the tent, every sense focused outward. Seconds dragged. Then, footsteps. Closer now, just outside. He could hear it breathing, if that's what it was. Wet, uneven, like air moving through something not built for it. It stopped right beside the tent. A long, stretched pause. Then a sound. Not a voice, not an animal, something in between, like it was testing what it could do. Evan felt every instinct rise up, make noise, confront it, push it away. But something deeper shut that down. Engaging felt wrong, dangerously wrong. The sound came again, softer this time, curious. Then silence, and finally, movement. Slow steps retreating, the weight of it pulling back into the trees. Evan didn't move for the rest of the night, didn't sleep, didn't check. He just waited. When morning finally came, he packed immediately. No food, no hesitation. He didn't look for tracks, didn't look back. By the time he hit the trailhead, the forest sounded normal again. Birds, wind, life filling back in like nothing had happened, like it had never been empty. He hasn't gone back since, and when people ask what he saw out there, he doesn't guess. He doesn't try to explain it. He just says, "It knew where I was the whole time, and whatever it wasn't trying to hide." Caleb Rourke had a reputation for not exaggerating. 15 years as a wildlife biologist, most of it spent deep in protected forests documenting animal movement patterns. Black bears, coyotes, elk, he'd track them all, often alone, often for days. His reports were used by state agencies. His word carried weight. So when he said something didn't belong in Pisgah, people listened. He'd taken the trip to clear his head, a short, solo run along a lesser-used stretch of the Appalachian Trail cutting through Pisgah National Forest. 2 nights, travel light, no distractions. Day 1 was textbook, tracks where they should be, sounds where they should be. The forest felt balanced, alive but predictable. He set camp just before dusk in a narrow clearing surrounded by dense tree cover. Not ideal for visibility, but good enough for a single night. The first sign came after dark. Caleb had just finished eating when he heard movement beyond the trees. He paused, listening. It was heavy but uneven. Not the steady rhythm of a deer, not the padded silence of a predator. It sounded off, like something trying to move carefully but not quite understanding how. He grabbed his headlamp and clicked it on, sweeping the beam across the tree line. Nothing. The forest stared back, still and ordinary. He turned the light off. The moment the darkness settled again, crunch. Closer this time. Caleb frowned. "All right," he muttered under his breath, more annoyed than concerned. Probably a bear testing the area. It happened. He stood, making himself known. Boots shifting, gear rustling. The movement stopped instantly. That wasn't unusual. What was unusual was what came next. A few seconds passed. Then something moved again, but not away. Toward him. Slow, measured, deliberate. Caleb felt a flicker of unease. That wasn't typical behavior. Most animals, once noticed, backed off. This one didn't. He clicked the headlamp on again, faster this time, aiming directly at the sound. The beam caught something between the trees and held. For a second, his brain didn't process it. The shape was wrong, too vertical, too narrow. It stood behind a tree, partially obscured, but what he could see didn't match any animal he knew, or any person. It leaned slightly, just enough for more of it to come into view. Tall, unnaturally tall. Its limbs seemed too long for its body, hanging at angles that didn't look comfortable. And its skin. Even in the harsh white beam, it looked pale. Not skin like a person hiking without sun. Something flatter, duller, like color had been drained out of it. Caleb didn't move, didn't speak. The thing shifted again. And then he saw its face, if you could call it that. The features were there, but placed wrong. Eyes too high, mouth too wide, stretching farther than it should, as if the edges had been pulled just a little too far. It wasn't expressionless. It just didn't make sense. Caleb felt his chest tighten. Not panic, not yet, but something close. He slowly lowered the light. Not off, just down. The beam dropped to the ground between them. He didn't want to challenge it, didn't want to signal anything. The moment the direct light left it, it moved. Fast. Not charging, not fleeing, just repositioning. 1 second it was behind the tree. The next, it wasn't there anymore. Caleb's head snapped up, light jerking back toward where it had been. Empty. The trees stood still. Nothing moved. But the forest didn't sound right. No insects, no wind, just that same hollow silence. Then, a sound. Behind him. Close. Too close. Caleb didn't turn. Every instinct told him to, but something stronger held him still. He'd tracked enough predators to know, sometimes turning is the trigger. He stared forward, breathing slow, controlled. Another sound. A shift of weight. It was just outside the edge of the clearing now, behind him. Watching. He could feel it. Not in some supernatural way, just the raw, undeniable awareness of being observed, studied. Time stretched, seconds dragging into something longer. Then, a breath, right at the edge of hearing. Wet, unsteady. Caleb's grip tightened at his sides. Still, he didn't turn. Minutes passed, or maybe it was less. It didn't matter. Eventually, the pressure lifted. The presence shifted. And then, footsteps. Retreating. Slow. Heavy. Fading back into the trees. Caleb waited a long time before moving. When he finally did, it was only to sit down, slowly, carefully, and keep facing forward. He didn't sleep that night. Didn't pack up in the dark. He just waited for daylight. At first light, he broke camp without hesitation. No breakfast, no notes, no samples. He left. When he reached the trailhead, everything felt normal again. Ryan Hale didn't scare easy. 8 years in the Army, 2 tours overseas. After that, he got into wilderness survival training, teaching people how to stay calm when things went wrong, how to read terrain, how to trust what was real and ignore what wasn't. Pisgah was supposed to be simple, a weekend reset, solo. No phone signal, no noise, just miles of Appalachian trail and a pack on his back. Day 1 felt right, the kind of right you only get deep in the woods. Wind moving through the trees, distant birds, the steady rhythm of your own footsteps. He made camp late in the afternoon, tucked just off the trail in a small dip between ridges. Good cover, good position. Habit. By nightfall, the temperature dropped fast. Ryan sat by a small, controlled fire, eating in silence. Nothing felt off. No strange sounds, no movement, no warning signs. Until the fire burned low. That's when he noticed it. The woods had gone quiet. Not gradually, all at once. The crackle of the fire suddenly felt too loud. The space beyond it, too empty. Ryan froze, listening. No insects, no night birds, nothing. He slowly reached over and dimmed his headlamp, letting the darkness settle back in. That's when he heard it. A step, off in the trees. Heavy, not far. Ryan didn't react right away. He stared into the dark, letting his eyes adjust, listening for a pattern. Another step, then another. Slow, measured, not circling, not wandering, approaching. Ryan stood up, calm and controlled. "Hey," he called out, voice steady. "Camp's occupied." Silence. The steps stopped. For a moment, nothing moved. Then, one more step, closer. Ryan's jaw tightened. That wasn't normal behavior. Anyone out here would have answered. Any animal would have backed off. This didn't. He clicked his headlamp up a notch and aimed it toward the sound. The beam cut through the trees and caught something standing between them. Ryan felt his focus snap into place. The figure was tall, too tall. It stood just beyond the reach of the light, but even there, its height was unmistakable. Its shoulders sat wrong, its arms hanging lower than they should, almost reaching its knees. It didn't move, didn't flinch in the light. Ryan took a slow step forward, angling the beam higher. The light hit its face, and everything in him told him to stop. The skin was pale, flat, almost gray under the light. But it wasn't the color that was wrong. It was the shape. The eyes sat too far apart, catching the light without blinking. The mouth stretched wider than it should, the edges pulled just slightly too far back, like something trying to mimic a human expression without understanding it. Ryan didn't speak, didn't challenge it. Training told him to control the situation. But this wasn't a situation he understood. The figure tilted its head, slow, precise, like it was studying him. Ryan lowered the light a few inches, not off, just enough to break the direct beam. The second the light shifted, the thing moved. Not toward him, not away, just gone. 1 second it was there, the next the space was empty. Ryan's breath caught for the first time. He scanned the trees, light snapping left, right. Nothing. No sound, no movement. But the silence stayed. Then, a step. Behind him. Close. Ryan didn't turn. Every instinct screamed at him to spin around, to confront whatever had moved that fast. But something deeper overrode it. If it wanted to be seen, it would be. Slowly, Ryan reached down and killed the fire with a sweep of dirt, plunging the clearing into near-total darkness. His headlamp followed, dimmed to the lowest setting. He stood there, barely breathing, listening. Another sound, a shift of weight, right at the edge of the clearing, behind him. Watching. Ryan kept his eyes forward, muscles locked, forcing himself still. Seconds stretched. Then a new sound. Not footsteps, not breathing. Something testing. A low, uneven noise, like air being pushed through a throat that didn't quite work right. It tried again. Softer, almost like it was learning. Ryan felt a chill crawl up his spine. It wasn't hunting. It was figuring him out. The sound stopped. Silence pressed in again. Then, movement. Slow steps pulling away, back into the trees. Ryan stayed exactly where he was. He didn't turn, didn't move. Not until the first gray light of morning broke through the forest. When it did, he packed fast. No hesitation, no second guesses. He didn't check the tree line, didn't look for tracks. He just left. The forest came back to life as the sun rose. Birds, wind, insects, everything returning like a switch had flipped. Normal, like the night before hadn't happened. Ryan hasn't been back to Pisgah since. And when people ask him what he saw out there, he doesn't try to explain it. He just says, it knew how to move without sound. It knew how to watch without being seen. And whatever it was learning out there, I don't think it was finished. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you have a story that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand on end, share it here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel and allows me to curate more of these stories for you.